I'm hoping to get a Bartrams bass for my Georgia Bass Slam this morning. This is a river that I haven't fished a lot, but I fished out here a couple times last year, and I did catch some Bartrams bass. Oh, there's a hit. That's a good start. Wasn't a lot, but a little something picking at it. But I know the Bartrams are in here. We got something here. Don't know. Looks like it's a Bartrams bass. I don't know if it's the 8 inches that are required for the Georgia Bass Slam, but if so, that's a quick start. All right, it is a Bartrams bass. That's the species that we're looking for. Let's see if he's big enough. With the Georgia Bass Slam, they need to be 8 inches. He's going to be right on the edge. Go ahead and get his pictures just in case. But he might be on the small side. I'm not. Well, I measured that fish, and it was actually about 9.5 inches, which the minimum size for the Georgia Bass Slam is 8 inches. So, mission accomplished. Primary mission for the day on the first cast, and oh, had something on cast number 2, but that one got off. I think that one was some sort of a panfish, a bluegill, or something, one of the related sunfish species, and I'm not positive. But that's certainly an encouraging sign. They seem to be liking this crickhopper early this morning. Picked it over that same area. The Georgia Bass Slam is a program that's run by the Georgia Wildlife Resources Division that helps educate people on the diversity of the black bass species in Georgia and some of the unique river species, the native species like these Bartrams bass, which are a distinctive black bass species that's in the upper Savannah River drainage. Georgia actually has 12 different distinctive black bass species. 2 of them are similar enough and hard enough to distinguish that they look at them together in the for the black bass slam. But the objective is to catch at least 5 of those species during a calendar. We got something else here. We got at least 5 of those species within a calendar year. And in the state of Georgia, and I'm seeking to do that this year, and the Bartrams is my second. The first one was a largemouth, and of course I want to catch them all fishing on foot. That's another Bartrams. He's a little smaller than the first one, so no need to measure him. Yeah, but because I fish it mostly on the surface, it gets some of the more aggressive fish. So a lot of times I'll start in an area with it. Oh, there we go. Oh, that one didn't quite get it. No, I didn't. But I'll start in an area with the crickhopper and get some of those more aggressive fish, and then when they seem to kind of lay off it, I'll switch to something subsurface and sometimes find a completely different set of fish that are interested. So, let's see if that happens this morning. Oh, that was a good strike. Like another Bartrams bass. Similar to the others, maybe a tiny bit bigger than the one I already measured. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, that's a good fish. That's a nice Bartrams. Yeah, that's a real good one for those. I think I'm going to go ahead and measure this one too. Oh, kind of a fat little fish. Pretty. The Bartrams bass are found in the upper Savannah River system, which means they're in several streams around where I am. I live in northeast Georgia, and they're found in northeast Georgia and in the northwestern area in South Carolina and the upstate and some of the waters. And there certainly are a few in some some of the tributary streams in North Carolina, but for the most part, when you get that high up in the watershed, it's a little more in the mountains, and those are more trout waters than bass waters. So there probably are not great abundance in North Carolina, but I'm sure they're close enough that I'm sure they're in some of those systems. But they're definitely a fish I'll go after at least a handful of times every summer, because they're close to home and fairly easy access, and they're aggressive and usually swimming around. I haven't caught anything else this morning, but usually they're swimming with some of the panfish species that'll hit some of the same type of lures. So usually it's a nice mixed bag catch. We'll see if anything wants to join them this morning. Looks like I've about tapped the crickhopper interest in this exact spot. I'm gonna make one more cast to the far bank and then walk down to that shoal before I switch over my approach and try something subsurface. I've tried a couple of subsurface approaches without any success. Seemed the crickhopper was what they wanted, or maybe I just already caught the more aggressive fish and got used to them. But I'm gonna try a few casts with a Rebel big hopper before moving along, which the big hopper is the same design as the crickhopper, essentially the same bait. It'll work it the same way, but it's just a little bit bigger, a little bigger profile for the fish to hone in on, and more importantly, from my standpoint, right now it's just a little bit heavier, so I can reach a couple spots in the pool that I couldn't quite get to with the crickhopper. Oh, there we go. Oh, it looks like that's a red breast sunfish, a nice one. That's just such a big strike. I thought that one was going to be a bass for sure, but then I saw that orange belly, and oh yeah, that's definitely a red breast. That's a beautiful fish. What a pretty fish. That's a lot of fun. Look at the colors on that guy. That was a beautiful fish. Oh, Bartrams bass, and looked like I had another one following it back, or maybe even a slightly bigger one. I was on my way back to the car to change to my wading shoes so I could reach a little more, and I saw this spot and thought I might want to slip down here and make a couple casts, and glad I did. The little fish followed all the way up on that cast. It looked like a little red breast, some kind of sunfish on the smaller end of the spectrum. Strike there. Oh, there's one. Never even saw that one strike. Had a couple little strikes that didn't get it, and then it was just all of a sudden there was tension. It's kind of sucked it under. That's some sort of sunfish. Like a bluegill this time. So that's 3 different species now. A little earlier where I caught those Bartrams bass. This is another little spot in the river where I've caught some Bartrams bass before. It's it's a lot more of a shoal type area, which I didn't, downstream, I didn't really have success in the shoal habitat. They were more in the pool, so I don't know if they'll be set up in here today, but it was coming over here and giving a little shot. That's fish. That's not just the lower turned sideways. So maybe a small Bartrams bass is my guess. Glance. That's what it appears to be. There's something. Assume it's another bass. It feels like it. Really good look. It is another Bartrams bass. Not a bad one either. And that Rebel Minnow, he was right by that little brush right on the edge. That's a pretty good Bartrams bass right there. I already have my, I got some twists in my line. I already have my qualifying fish, or I'd measure that one. He probably would qualify, but I have what I need for the slam already. Just let him go. Oh, there's another one. Feels pretty good. They fool you sometimes. They're feisty. They spend all their time in that current, so they fight pretty well. Yeah, that's a pretty nice one. We can land this guy. Oh, he's about to jump. Oh! Yeah, that's a good Bartrams bass right there. That's a really nice one for this species. I'm gonna take him to the edge and measure him. That's a really good Bartrams bass. That's an 11-inch Bartrams bass, which is pretty nice, pretty nice for this species. Let this guy go, and I think this is the one I actually will turn in for the Georgia Bass Slam. This guy go. Give this spot just a couple casts. Had a little red breast sunfish follow it back on the last cast. Follow it all the way to the rod tip. Didn't quite commit. Oh, there we go. Didn't have much battery left. Hopefully I'll even get to land this one before it dies on me. Another pretty good Bartrams bass. It's been a really good day. That's a nice one right there. Probably similar to the one I just measured. A little smaller, I think. He's probably 9 or 10 inches. That other one was 11, but that's a good Bartrams. Well, I was going to call it quits with my battery running out, and I couldn't resist stopping at one other little spot when I was walking back and stepping in. Caught another bass, and instead I went back to the car and got another battery. But they say as the sun's come up, they've been down a little further. They responded well to this Rebel Minnow, so I may not fish much longer, but I'm gonna try this area that I didn't really before, and I may go back and make a few casts with this in the first pool where I caught most of my fish, because I didn't fish it with the Rebel Minnow. Just oh, it's a fish. I thought I was snagged on the rock. I felt something and thought it was a strike, and then it seemed like it was just still. I don't know. Maybe it got behind something where it almost felt like a hang for a second. But that's a bass. Pretty good one too. Got him hooked weird. First hook is actually in the mouth. He grabbed it by the back hook, and then got hooked in the side after that. Nice. They're really seeming to like this Rebel Minnow today. This time I think I finally am going to call it a day. I had to give a few casts in the spot where I started just to give them a fresh look with a different lure. Nothing happened there, but it's been a great morning. I actually accomplished my original objective, which was to get a Bartrams bass for the Georgia Bass Slam on the first cast I made this morning, and then I caught several more, including a couple that were a little bit better that I measured and took photos of, which will probably be the ones that I'll actually submit. But these Bartrams bass are the native fish that are close to home for me. Then they're a lot of fun to catch. It's one of my favorite ways to spend a morning, and it's just been a successful day fishing on foot. Appreciate you watching.